What was your first impression of Zoombinis? Did it spark any professional or personal connection?
Well, my first impression of Zoombinis was back when I was in elementary school, and I just fell in love with those little blue creatures on my screen.
When we enter into the child's world and something that they're interested in, like Zoombinis, like a video game, whether they're feeling anxiety or whether they're feeling frustration or whatever, we're right there with them.
I actually, speaking of the Fleens puzzle earlier, I had a client who was really struggling with it and saying she just didn't get it. It seemed random. And finally she was like, it's a code. Her ponytail goes with his bandana.
Welcome back to the Zoombinis podcast. I'm Brittany, your host and the ambassador coordinator for Zoombinis. Today, we are joined by two amazing professionals who use play and problem solving in their work every day. Emma Silberman, a speech language pathologist at Therapeutic Middle and High School in Massachusetts, and Chloe MacDonald, a licensed clinical social worker at Puzzle Pieces. Together, we're going to explore how games like Zoombinis can go beyond the classroom, supporting language, social emotional learning, and critical thinking skills in kids. Chloe and Emma, can you share a bit about your background and what drew you to working with children in your fields?
Sure, yeah, definitely. For me, growing up, I've always gravitated towards kids. I love kids and their perspective on the world. They see things really honestly and genuinely, and seeing the world through their eyes really fills my cup.
Love that.
I'm in the same boat. I feel like I always knew I wanted to work with kids in some sort of helping profession. And I have always been a bookworm and a language nerd. So when I found out about speech language pathology, it was kind of just the perfect marriage of my interests in education and working with kids and just geeking out over stuff like phonology, narrative structure, all things linguistics. It was just perfect.
Love that. What was your first impression of Zoombinis? Did it spark any professional or personal connection?
Well, my first impression of Zoombinis was back when I was in elementary school. As I think a lot of people, that was their first experience. It was in my technology class, and it was kind of like a game we were allowed to play after we finished our typing exercises or Lexia reading program or whatever kind of curriculum material we were working on that day. And I just fell in love with those little blue creatures on my screen, and I honestly had no idea what I was doing or how to solve those puzzles when I was in, first, second grade, but I was very determined to save those Zoombinis. And yeah, I've heard that troll saying, make me a pizza in my head ever since.
Chloe, what about you?
Similarly, I played Zoombinis after computer class in elementary school. And I remember always rushing through the computer type to learn program so that I could get to Zoombinis, because that's what I was really looking forward to. And I just really enjoyed the problem solving and the storytelling. And I feel I now recognize in hindsight that my enjoyment of that storytelling and problem solving came from what I developed as strengths of empathy and problem solving through life's challenges as an adult, and now what I do with my career. So
love that. Okay, this question is for both of you. So Chloe, if you want to go first, how do games like Zoombinis support skills like language and problem solving and social emotional development?
Yeah, I think from a child-led play perspective, when we enter into the child's world and something that they're interested in, like Zoombinis, like a video game, and we just pair and match with them in the feelings that they have as we go through that, we can tune into the feelings that they have that then lead to the behaviors, And so whether they're feeling anxiety or whether they're feeling frustration or whatever, we're right there with them in that. And then we can see okay, maybe that results in a behavior of wanting to throw the computer across the room or whatever it is. But then we can have more of a conversation of how the feeling led to that versus just seeing the behavior. I think this game really helps people tolerate working through confusion and fairness and disappointment in this safe relational context. And then it opens up the floor for us to practice coping strategies in a developmentally appropriate way.
I love that. What about you, Emma?
definitely. I mean, I think Zoombinis is super helpful, especially when targeting some language and problem solving, executive functioning. I mean, throughout the game, we're pretty much constantly comparing and contrasting the different traits of the Zoombinis or the fleens or whatever, and kind of discussing our thought processes. So like, oh, I think this Zoombini goes over here across this bridge because the ones over here that got over safely, those also have springy feet and he has springy feet. So that's the same. Or like, oh, this one has, roller skates. So I think he won't be able to go across over there.
Yeah.
And like, there's plenty of times where I feel like our initial hypothesis is wrong. So we have to regroup like that. And that's great from an executive functioning standpoint as well, because you're just constantly predicting, planning, reevaluating, revising your plans while solving those puzzles. And like, yeah, under the same like executive functioning umbrella, like inhibition skills, a lot of kids kind of come at it from a kind of all over the place type of strategy, if you can even call it that. And I'll kind of prompt them and ask like, what do you think might happen if we keep guessing without a plan? And kids are usually pretty motivated to try and not leave any Zoombinis behind and kind of regroup and figure out a strategy and talk that piece through as well.
They're really quick to get attached to the little guys. Like we were recently this week playing the puzzle with the fleens, and there's only so much space on the tree branch. And we unfortunately 2 Zoombinis fell off of the tree branch, and the client I was working with, he was like, I miss them already.
That's so sweet.
Sad. But they're not gone. They're not gone.
Right.
But
They're just back at the ship.
Back for them. Yeah.
But does it help, like, does the puzzle games help build that communication in like a therapy setting, Emma?
I mean, yeah, like when we're playing, we can work on descriptive language. We can work on expanding their utterances. So just like making it longer. We're obviously also working on a lot of those problem solving skills and executive functioning, metacognition. So we're like talking about our thought process. And yeah, just like planning and all that great stuff. There's just so much, so many different language opportunities in the game. It's really cool. Yeah.
And Chloe, for your social work, how can structured play like this help the kids navigate? Like we've talked kind of about the frustration and the resilience and stuff. How does that help them with that?
Yeah. So they're like learning through this game, and they're learning in a way that makes sense to them, and it promotes their strengths and it helps them build confidence. And like when we're able to like practice those skills like in a realm that feels comfortable for them, it's then like makes it accessible for them to take the skills they learned in that environment that felt safe and comfortable and strong, and then apply it elsewhere in areas that don't feel as safe and don't feel as comfortable. But we've like really practiced those skills in a really safe environment that they can then take with them elsewhere.
I love that. Do you think these kids are actually noticing that they're learning?
I think they notice it. I think
yes, no.
Yeah, but in an enjoyable way because their strengths are being promoted and their confidence is being promoted. And so I think it's feel good learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's
kind of like a magic behind it.
Yeah. Like they come to us and they know that we're here to do some learning. So they're already kind of primed from like the environment that they're in, but it's so much fun. And honestly, as we get to like the harder levels, I'm kind of like learning and figuring it out with them too. So
yeah,
it's fun. It's a puzzle. It's a challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah. I streamed Zoombinis and I had David Libby, he's one of that worked on the game and helped with the puzzles and things. And he's like in the chat trying to help me. And I'm like, this is so embarrassing that I need the developers' help on these games.
Honestly, towards like the final level, fair. I think I need that. I think I need David Libby in my ear saying, no, try this.
Yeah. Especially the bubble one. I hate the bubble one. I'm so bad at it.
That one is stressful.
That one
stresses me out.
Yeah.
The fleens one, though, the one I was just talking about, like that one's really hard.
Yeah, that one is. I still don't have any. I think it's luck on the that one. If any.
Kids are like, is it random? I'm like, yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
it must be.
I tell them the first one, it's gonna be a guess. Like, and then you're gonna go from there. It's hard.
Yeah. But can you each walk us through, and you guys can decide who goes first, on how you might use Zoombinis in the learning and speech pathology sessions and like group activities?
Yeah. I can go first. Does that work, Emma?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Um, yeah, so like I kind of mentioned, my approach to pediatric mental health is through like child-led, play-based therapy. I often like provide Zoombinis as an option to kids who I think will enjoy that type of play and who also have girl goals that we could work on through this type of play. An example is like if a client was working on back and forth communication and engagement, Zoombinis might be a great way for us to have like an ongoing connection while playing together without the stressors of like eye contact and verbal communication. The client can like click and show me their answer, like instead of talking through it. And then that can be like an opening and then to develop more communication skills, but I can kind of meet them where they're at.
It's awesome. Emma, what do you think?
Yeah, and I also like to have it as like an option. Following kids' interests and whatnot is really important to me as well. Usually I'll like start our sessions by previewing whatever skills we're working on in the session. So maybe we're focusing on articulation and we'll review our sound. I'll let them know I'll be listening for clear articulation while we play. Or maybe we're working on utterance complexity, and I'll remind them to share their thoughts out loud for me using whatever grammatical or syntactical targets we have for the session, and then just go from there. But yeah, it's a really great way to have that back and forth, like Chloe said, whether it's verbal or nonverbal, depending on where that kid is at and what kind of goals you're targeting. So it's really cool that it's like flexible in that way.
What is the age groups that you guys work with?
I work with like it's 3 to 13.
And I just transitioned, so I'm now working with students ages 12 to 18. So
Oh, wow.
we're kind of hitting a very
All of
wide
them.
range.
Right.
A few of us, yeah.
And how do you guys adapt the game to fit these different ages and abilities?
Yeah. What's so great about this game is there's like such a variety of ways to team up with the kids to think through the challenges. So like if some kids are working on leadership and confidence building, I'll like tell them to take the lead on how to begin problem solving. So it's really like we can click on the question button, we can read them, we can try not to click on the question button, try to figure it out on our own versus reading the instructions. So like there's so many ways you can kind of go about the game and adapt it to meet the client where they're at.
And Emma, for you?
Yeah, definitely. I think like a great thing about Zoombinis is it does have different levels, and you can always play in practice mode and pick the difficulty level. And I'll, like Chloe said, yeah, I'll provide like more or fewer cues and clues depending on the student's age or ability, or like how frustrated they're getting by the puzzle if we're feeling really stuck and things like that. Yeah.
Are you guys doing the video game version, or are you doing the Club Zoombinis version?
Video
Abs,
game.
it downloaded from the App Store, but I'm curious about the Club Zoombinis version.
Yeah, me too.
Because the school that
Oh.
I'm at does have groups and clubs. Could be
Yeah. We
super fun.
definitely need to talk about this. I will message you guys after, but I think
Yeah,
that's a huge opportunity.
connect.
It's like more of a puzzle, or excuse me, it's like a board game version of Zoombinis.
Cool.
And then there's more like acting out. So there's not any audio, right? So they have to be the bridge that sneezes and kicks them off. And so it makes like a really fun group activity. So maybe that's something we could
great.
talk about after, because that might be pretty cool for them to try as well,
Yeah.
if they've only seen the
Yeah.
video game version.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah,
really
I'd love
fun.
to learn more.
Yeah, I got some of the ambassadors together to play it, and it was interesting getting us to get out of our comfort zone too, of like making silly noises and doing different things. So it was pretty fun. Has there been any memorable aha moments with these kids and the games?
I actually, like, speaking of the Fleens puzzle earlier, I had a client who was really struggling with it and saying she just didn't get it. It seemed random. And finally she was like, it's a code. Her ponytail goes with his bandana. And like, it was just really cool to see her persevere through that like really tricky problem solving, and then also be able to explain her reasoning and understanding of the logic behind the puzzle and like how it worked was a really cool one.
Really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I often see kids light up around the pizza troll challenge. I think like That's such a popular challenge that I hear people talk about a lot. Like, similarly, I was listening to your guys' other episodes of your podcast, and it felt like every episode someone brings up the pizza troll and how that, like, make me a pizza has been, like, stuck in our heads for 15 years. Um, and so the kids love that one. And I always get such a funny reaction from them when the pizza troll decides he just wants, like, marinara and pineapple, like some
That
weird
stresses me out.
combination.
It
Yeah.
has to have cheese.
Yeah.
Anytime there's no
Yeah.
cheese, I'm like, this is wrong. This is so wrong.
Yeah.
Weird taste.
So always a funny moment at the
But I
pizza
guess
troll.
that helps with kids too, of showing them like just because it makes us uncomfortable, it just might not be what others like or things like that, you know?
So
Oh, like,
educating.
yeah, learning about differences. Totally.
Yeah. And so those are kind of, some lifelong skills that the kids might be able to take away. What are some other ones that you guys focus on to help them take away with it?
I'm trying to think if there's anything that we haven't covered already, but like we said, I mean, like perspective taking with the troll, persevering through a difficult challenge, knowing that they can do hard things, having that growth mindset, having the patience. These games take time. They're a lot slower paced than I think pretty much all the games that my students are playing, in their free time at home. And I think that those are all like transferable skills to, the outside world.
Yeah, definitely. I think, like we kind of mentioned, learning through failure, like that trial and error piece that you kind of have to start the puzzles off in, the teamwork and problem solving, leadership and confidence building. I think those are all lifelong skills that are present when playing the game.
Yeah. And like sometimes the pace could be a challenge, especially if kids aren't used to that type of gameplay. Is that been a main challenge, or has there been other challenges that you've noticed with Zoombinis?
I think my experience, the kids are often surprised that we have to like watch that little video in between challenges, and they're like, why is it so slow? Like, what's next? Because I think, more
Loading
modern
screen?
video games,
back in my day, we
are
had
like
a loading screen, and it took a long
Yeah.
time.
Right. So there is the practice of like patience in that, and like learning that, like, there are games out there that are slower paced that are still fun.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Awesome.
Definitely.
Do you guys know of the hidden Easter eggs? Do you show them those at the campsites?
No.
Oh, wait. One
Is
of the
it-
kids just discovered some little pop ups that I never knew about until this week when
Yeah.
the thing comes out of the ground.
Yep. Yeah,
Mhm.
there's like, I don't know the exact number. There's like 5 to 7-ish on every campsite. There is little Easter eggs throughout. So if you just go clicking around, you can see like the tree little limb pops out, and there's like a bunch of little hidden Easter eggs. We do have a video on our YouTube showing those hidden Easter eggs. I did a stream just showing everybody them because I thought they were really cool. Thought they've been there this whole time and I had no idea.
I didn't have a clue. I'm going to have to go looking for them now. For sure.
Yeah.
super
And there's
fun.
one, like on the second camp out, there's like one out in the distance, like in the water or whatever that is, that's like comes up really big. And it's like shocking. I never knew it was there.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's super fun.
So maybe that could be another learning for them. Like, hey, Easter eggs are a thing. Can you find anything where we think this is just another, screen? Maybe they can click around too and find them.
Yeah.
Exploration. I mean,
Yes.
yeah. Thinking outside of the box.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So we've talked about some of the puzzles that are challenging to us. Do you guys have a favorite Zoombinis puzzle?
I am a fan of the pizza trolls, and I think the fleens. I think they both are just like so much fun and a challenge in a way that just like tickles my brain just right, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. It would be hard not to say the pizza troll challenge. It's just so good. It's like whatever that little voice snippet is, it's perfect.
Yeah, and that's the original. They were able to keep the original audio for the when they revamped it back in like 2014. They were able to keep all the original audio, and I'm glad they did because it's like
Me
we
too.
still remember it from when we were kids,
Yeah,
nostalgic.
yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
it really was like an earworm that just like stuck with me all this time.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
get people on Instagram sometimes that are like, I thought it was a fever dream. I thought I made this up. Like, I didn't know it was a thing, But we remember these tiny little details, and then something like this comes out and you're like, oh, shoot, That was a real thing.
Totally.
Oh my gosh.
Totally.
Wait, another thing I remembered like vaguely that I ended up Googling was I was like, I swear there was like Zoombinis Pundit Squares. It
Oh,
was like Zoombinis Island Odyssey. So I guess my
yes. There
computer
was like a
lab
second.
had multiple
Yeah.
Zoombinis.
There was a second
games.
Zoombinis that came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing that I
That's
was like, was
awesome.
that a fever dream or was that real?
But what surprised you? And I know most of us, it was in our childhood. But like, what surprised you most when you first engaged with this game?
I think I was surprised. Oh, go ahead, Emma.
If you have thoughts, I remember the first time that I engaged with the game as a child, the first time that I engaged with it as an adult, I was surprised how hard it got, how tricky it was for me to figure out some of those levels or figure out what is the rule here, what's the pattern, what's the logic behind it.
Totally. That's my answer too.
Yeah, I thought it would be easier. It's like, oh, well, I played it when I was 8, so it must not be that hard. It'll just be like a fun
game.
easy.
Yeah.
It's hard.
It is. The challenges, they can be so hard, and it surprises, I feel like, adults how long it takes them to problem solve their way through it. I'm also like still so curious, like, what are Zoombinis? Like, are they pebbles? Are they aliens? Are they like what are they? I love them. It doesn't matter what they are, but I just like really want to know.
All I know is they're armless. That's all I know. I don't
They're
know.
armless. Yeah.
I don't know. We got to get you on, Chloe. We'll get you on, I promise.
Thanks.
But yeah, I think that's also the fun about it is you get to choose what they are. Like,
Yeah.
you get to choose their trope, you get to choose their backstory, whatever that is, and I feel like that might be a fun activity too, is like write a story on like the history of the Zumbini or something, that might be fun.
Yeah.
Structure. Let's build their history. We know a little bit about they had to, escape their homeland.
Mm-hmm.
There's already this overarching narrative there that we can use, story grammar or the somebody wanted but so framework to talk about that story. But let's make our own. What do you think happened before? What do you think happens after they all make it to Zumbiniville?
Yeah, I think that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a Zoomini movie would be great. I would love to know more about the before and after.
Oh, your mind.
I mean, that could be really great.
Hey, I think so.
I would watch it.
Me too.
Yeah, I don't like not knowing. I like knowing backstories and the drama. There has to be drama somewhere in there, right? There's got to be.
Hey, there's definitely drama in like the opening scene, when they're like getting kicked off their land.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
They're like taking over their land.
Yeah, we need to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and they don't talk back. So, if they could talk back, what would you imagine that they were saying to the kids while they were playing?
I picture them like when they do their little like cheers, like when you're getting like a group of them somewhere. I picture them saying like, "Thank you, you're my hero."
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for rescuing me.
Love that. Love that. Yeah, I feel like they wouldn't just say like "great job." I feel like it would be more like a yippee or a weird like noise. They would have to have their own noise. All right. Well, you are able to create your own Zoombinis. Do you guys normally create your own, or do you just hit the random and let them come out of the cave or whatever they're coming out of?
If I'm playing on my own, I think maybe it's just like the TikTok era version of me. I hit random. I'm like, I just want to get to the gameplay. But with the kids, we usually will make all the individual Zoombinis and talk about like which traits we want to give to them. And like, we'll even look at, you can change their name. Like if you click on the name. So that was great. I had a client who had some challenges with reading. And so we would use it as a little bit of like incidental practice, sounding things out because it's all nonsense words.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, we typically do I make one, the client makes one, I make one, the client makes one, and then we build our 16. But then when we have to go back and get more, like usually we're ready to randomize them.
Nice.
But 16 is customized and strong.
I get like one in. I got my like favorite one, and then I randomize the rest.
Yeah.
So what is your favorite accessory then?
I mean, I love bow tie helicopter. I love it.
Bow tie helicopter. Emma, what about you?
I think either roller skates or springy feet are just so fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I would want to have, either roller skates or springy feet if I were a Zoombinie. So
Love that. Love that. Which puzzle do you think you would use as a metaphor for teamwork?
maybe the bubble maze. I think because all the Zoombinis have to go at just the right time so they don't like bump into each other and pop each other's bubbles. To go the right direction, you have to go in the right order. So I think there'd be a lot of like planning and collaboration between them to figure that out and not fall through that transparent grid.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the swamp one, is that what you would call it, the swamp one? The
Caucasian.
Yeah. And they have to match the Zoombini next to them. So like they're all playing a role in solving that puzzle. Because, you know, the one next to them has to have a piece of the one behind them, and then it keeps going and going.
Yeah. I like that one. We talked about our favorite ones. Do you guys have one that you just don't like of the puzzles? Oh, yeah.
I think the frog lily pad one, that one, like for my eyes, I'm like trying to find the pad. It's hard.
Too.
I'm like right up on the screen.
I'm always using my finger to track it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the one I hate the most. I got one just stuck in a circle and I was like, well, now what do I do? Like, there's no way out for this one.
Well,
No. Oh my gosh.
And,
Can
like,
we
the
talk
later
about the
levels,
little
though.
frog dance
oh yeah, that's cute.
Oh, the frog.
that they do when before they hop in the water? It's so cute.
And they lead them away. Yeah.
Yeah. There's cute elements to that puzzle. I just can't stand that puzzle. And they're so tiny too. I'm like
little.
jumping across. I lose them. I'm like, oh, I sent one that way, you know.
Wait, so if
it's
they're
funny.
like on the backs of frogs, they're really tiny.
Yeah.
Right. Another
Super tiny.
data point for the puzzle of what Zoombinis are.
For the movie, they'll have to
For the
be very
movie.
tiny.
Oh my gosh. It could be like Marcel the Shell kind of situation.
Oh my gosh.
So cute.
I love Marcel the Shell. Shout out
Me
Jenny.
too.
All right. If you had to describe in only one word Zoombinis as a learning tool, what would it be?
Rewarding. I think it's
Yeah.
really like you really feel like you've earned it when you get to a campsite, when you get to Zoombiniville. There's like a real sense of, you know, I did that. And I can see that in the students and in the kids too. They're like, oh, like we made it. And look, there's like a new building or, you know, whatever.
Totally. I think flexibility would be mine. I think the kids are being really flexible when we play. One idea doesn't work. We have to go to the next idea. Oh no, like we thought we would have 16 at this campfire, but now we have to go back and get more. And so I think it's a really great learning tool and flexibility.
I totally forgot about the campfire thing. I thought it was another puzzle. So I put them like all in the thing and spun them around a little bit. And I'm like, I don't understand what I'm supposed to be doing.
Funny.
And then I realized, oh, wait, you're supposed to be bringing them back.
Yeah.
Right.
I often give them the option when we get to the campfires of like, do you want to put them to sleep and put them in the little boxes, or do you want to leave them out on the path and let them eat soup? So I kind of try to like
cute.
evolve the story with them.
Or how much time do we have left in our session? Another great executive functioning skill. You know, we have 5 minutes left. We can't save our progress unless we're at a campsite. What are we thinking? Do we want to give a puzzle a shot knowing that we probably won't be able to save it?
Oh, that's good.
Do you want to stay put and do something else for our last 5 minutes? Chat about what we think the Zoombinis lore is.
Yeah. Do you guys have them like color Zoombinis or draw Zoombinis?
I have, yeah. Yeah, it's really fun. I had a client who was adamant that Zoombinis should be allowed to be bald, which is actually how I ended up connecting with Zoombinis. Was I told her, hey, that's not up to me, but we could write a letter. And so we did. And she said, you know, I have a suggestion. We got to make them bald. But we've just
That is so cute.
drawn some bald Zoombinis. And and some glam.
Which is so funny. Yeah. Because when Emma told me that her client had the feedback of wanting to be bald, I was like, oh, so random. But then as I played more and more with my clients, I got that feedback too from them. They're like, they look so cute bald. I wish they could be bald. And I was like, wow, I didn't imagine this to be a focus.
That's so
Malka
funny.
loves a bald Zombini. You heard it here first.
That's so funny. Have you shared with us some of their artwork?
No, I don't think so, but just send it on
Maybe
over.
that's something we can do as well, is for our socials, post some of their artwork, and maybe that would get them excited about that
they would
too.
be so
And
stoked.
they would love.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
let's talk about that also after.
Yeah.
We'll chat offline.
Absolutely. Okay. So we're wrapping up a little bit here. There's a couple more questions left. What excites you most about using play and games in your work today? And you guys can decide who goes first.
I guess I'll go first. I think what's most exciting is I know that play is just how not only kids and young kids learn, but it's how we all learn. And so when we're having fun, that's when things really stick, when things really start to click for us. So I think that's what's most exciting, is knowing that it's like really going to make an impact. Because I mean, even just like thinking about myself, like I remembered Zoombinis and like figuring out those puzzles. I don't remember necessarily, a math lesson, like a specific math lesson. Those were helpful, necessary. But what I remember is those little blue guys.
Totally. Yeah. And similarly, I think like meeting kids where they're at is so important. And like play is their language, play is their job when they're a kid. And so we're able to like use this as a creative tool to meet them in that play and meet them in their language.
Yeah, I love that. And it probably gets them excited to do the learning as well, because they get to play. That's cool.
Totally.
What message would you share with parents, teachers, or therapists curious about games like Zoombinis?
Go for it. Do it. Download it. Don't be afraid to use materials that are a little less traditional. I think, like Chloe was saying, when we follow kids' interests, whether that be, video games or whatever it may be, and we just bring that fun and play into learning, that's when we see the most growth. And, this is not like your typical video game from this era. Like this truly is like a very positive, like learning experience, as well as being just like super fun.
Totally. Yeah, I think it's a great way to engage in virtual games in a safe environment. Like it's not gonna send you clickbait. It's not, gonna get kids to somewhere that's not kid friendly. It like locks you in this safe environment that's developmentally appropriate. And yeah, there's no concerns of violence or any of that.
And no ads.
And no ads.
They may have a loading screen, but they don't have any ads.
Totally.
Nothing asking you to make like 1 million in-app purchases.
Right,
Oh my God.
right.
Yeah.
Money. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to start with Chloe. Is there anything that you are currently working on that you're really excited about?
In my life, I'm enjoying my day to day with the kids. I'm getting married in 2 weeks, so
congratulations!
Working on that. Thank you. So yeah, we're having a pizza food truck at the wedding, and I'm like so tempted to make like a little cutout of the pizza troll to make me a pizza. No, because I'm like, how cute. A lot of my wedding I've tried to put like a personal DIY touch on, so I've been considering that. I'll send you guys a picture if it happens.
Have to. Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
I know we had we thought about getting Arno plushies up next, so we're trying to get that working because he's a very big fan favorite.
Totally. I saw online that you guys have backpacks for him, so I'm like,
oh
that's
yeah.
adorable. Yeah.
I actually I actually have one. So I'll show you guys because they're way more vibrant than I expected them to be.
My gosh.
So I actually got sent two, so I'd be happy to send them to each of you if you guys would like a backpack to show the kids.
Yes.
Yeah. And then if we get you the Zoombinis clubs, you got to have something to carry it around with. You got to go full Zoombinis.
Totally.
Hard to show beanies.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. We have pants. I don't know if you've seen the pants. They are very bright.
They're super bright.
They are very bright blue.
Fun.
Thank you. Yeah, this is.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So
and
cool.
It's like,
make me a pizza.
Yeah, it's really good fabric and everything. I love it. And so
Oh,
there's a
that's
lot of
awesome.
pockets and everything. So yeah, if you guys are interested, I'd be happy to send them to you guys and you guys can get
That's so nice
some
of
use
you.
for the kids. Of
Yeah,
course.
that's even better.
Totally.
Yeah. So I guess last but not least would just be if, people are really interested in learning more about you guys and your work and things like that, where can people connect for that?
Yeah, so you can find more about the work that I'm doing and that a lot of other clinicians are doing at puzzlepiecesmass.com. Or we have a Puzzle Pieces Mass Instagram. Yeah, I've been encouraging the staff to be Zoombinis for Halloween, so you might find
I
a group
love
photo of all of
that.
us being
We need that
beanies
for the socials.
on Puzzle Pieces
Absolutely.
Mass Instagram. So
That
Love
would be
that.
incredible.
What about you?
Yeah, I am on Instagram at Emma Boston SLP. I like to post some silly meme content about being an SLP, and settling into my new role with those middle and high school students.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for this. I had a blast and I got to learn so much about what you guys do, and it's incredible work that you guys are doing. So thank you so much for being here today.
yeah, thank you. This was fun. This was like, I never imagined, like, if I think about my little second grader self, like, how could I ever imagine that one day I'd be on the Zoombinis podcast? So this has been so fun. And like, my little
Absolutely.
childhood heart is very happy.
Oh,
My
love that.
inner childhood Emma is just
Yeah.
beaming. So excited to be here. It's really cool.
Awesome. Well, I'll definitely reconnect after this. We have a lot of
Yeah.
things coming up, sounds like. So that'll be awesome. And then maybe, down the line, we can have you guys back to see what else you guys have been working on.
Yeah, that'll be
So,
lovely.
Love it.
thank you guys so much. I hope you have a good day.
Yeah, you too. Thanks, Brittany.
Bye.
Bye.